Welcome back, folks, to World of Warships Legends. I'm Soopa-Dave, and at today's guide, we're going to talk about Planet Clash. Now, I had a late start to this because I did all the ships that were currently on sale or in the event or in the campaign, and I did guides for them for this week. So I didn't get to this till today, and I have learned quite a bit about this, having just gone into it all willy-nilly. As you can see, though, I'm ready to Cosmic level 4. And I can assure you, you can make this a lot easier. First of all, we're going to go through the builds before we do anything else. And then I'll show you these in action. But there's a reason for these builds here. Now, for the Destroyer, and we'll talk about what you do in a little bit, but I will show a video. And I have already gotten well over 2 million damage in matches so far, and all these ships can be effective. I've had some comments saying that you can only use the cruiser to get damage. That is 100% not accurate. So we're gonna go through how to use these builds here, guys. So first of all, Achilles. There is actually really kind of only one way to build it. Effective for the terror. There might be other ways, but I haven't found it. So for this, you're gonna have unbreaking, but for your skills, shield up. That way you have more shield time or more shield health. And less HP. And the reason for that on a destroyer is if you build it this way, you have smokes that you can pop really quick. So you just want your shield to be really good in between smokes. I believe off this build, it's something like 10 or 15 seconds between smokes. It's really quick. You can keep undetected. For your second perk, you're going to want to use Time Bomb. That's to get your smoke quicker. Now, your torpedoes are going to be slower. But as the destroyer player to be effective, and with my destroyer, I've already had games of 1.5 million. I'll try to remember to leave screenshots up for this. Can be super effective. You lose the torpedo speed, but as a destroyer, you want to be undetected as much as you can, and you're just constantly throwing torps at battleships. That's your biggest help. And if you can aim at the other stuff, if your aim is good enough for the other things, that's fine. But the second the all destroyer, the big battleship shows up, you want to get in position to start torping the crap out of him just instantly while your teammates are taking rest care of everything else. For your next perk, you're going to want to take the honorable madness, because with this build, you're not using your main guns. It's all about your torpedoes and pumping them out as quick as possible. Now, for this last skill, you could do a few things, but to be honest with you, my biggest thing was I didn't want to hurt torpedo range where you have to be in spotting distance. That makes it really hard to play. You can get a ton of damage doing this way, but it's super risky. Then for you could do a better safe than sorry if you would like. Otherwise, again, this helps if you do need your guns in a panic situation. You can use them. For your base trait, it is torpedo and main battery reload per 1 HP lost. And I will talk more about this, but you do want to use this to the best of your abilities, and it's going to sound crazy, but you want to lose health at the beginning of the match so that your torpedoes and your main battery, they reload quick. You still have the shields. You have your one shield and then you have a reload. If you're being safe, you won't have an issue. You just got to not get caught, and you can do a ton of damage, and that's how you get a lot of DPS out of this. But again, focus on battleships. They're easy targets that'll help your teammates do well. So now we're going to head over to the cruiser, which, in my opinion, is the strongest thing, but not by a ton. I just got done having a game of 2.2 million damage. You'll see that game here, just so you can see what I'm talking about with some of the stuff. So your legendary trait, your base trait is shield HP. Now with this build, the battleship has two builds to it, but for the cruiser build, you really want to be on AP and use AP to your best of ability on everything. You can just absolutely shred everything. Um, so for this, you're going to want to take resistance is futile. It makes your AP very powerful. It wrecks your HE, but you don't want to use your HE. Again, crooked angle, same thing. It helps your AP. And subterranean horror, you want to use this to again help your main battery. And this really compounds on itself because now you get cruiser main AP shell damage. Your big thing with the cruiser here is you have this right here, this artillery booster. The radar does nothing really in this, so don't worry about it. But you have this artillery booster, and if you hit shielded ships with this on, and it absolutely takes shields out very quickly. Now with the cruiser, you definitely want to be taking on the battleship. You want to be taking on anything that you can. It's the most effective at taking out everything. But when you can and you have this booster, you should be going after shielded ships. The one thing with the cruiser that I will say is you kind of want to stay out of that 7.5 kilometer range on the main, uh, battleship, the big one that pops up. Because as soon as you go in there with a cruiser, he's going to focus on you, and this cruiser cannot take a beating. It can against everything else, but not against the main all destroyer. Um, well, one other note here quickly on the cruiser. You do, when you have this EMP wave right before your torpedoes hits, you can use that to get a shield down temporarily to start a flood or some other stuff, help with damage. And now for the battleship, because I've heard a lot of complaints about the battleship. Honestly, this is a lot more powerful than what people have made it out to be, and I will explain why. There's two different builds on this here, guys. Let's go through the loadouts actually first. What we're going to talk about here is your shield boost. Obviously, your battleship, you have this just like the other things, but it's more important to the battleship, I feel, in a lot of scenarios, and you have this orbital strike. When you have this, just use it. It's just 35,000 damage on everything. Honestly, I actually find it handy to get rid of pesky destroyers, especially the light speed destroyers, because they can be hard to kill. Um, Outside of that, EMP shells, if you shoot these on shielded ships, it will, in one salvo outside of the main battleship, on the other little battleships, it will take the whole shield down one good salvo. So you should use them. And then switch to your AP when you are actually going after stuff with the shields down. So we'll go over here, look at the build. There is two builds here, and I'm going to show you one of them real quick. This is the DPS version. This is the one that you're going to use to really, if you want to pound out a lot of damage, you can still tank with it, but you can pound out a lot of damage with it. So now this is going to be the first one I show you is going to be the DPS build. This is where you can do damage as a battleship, and yes, you can get to like 1.5. It's not as high as a cruiser, but you can still be super effective in a battleship. So the DPS build is a Nimble Fortress for your first kill, mainly just because you don't want to lose your battery range on the second one. And the third one, or for the second skill, you're going to want to take Deadly Static to get your secondaries involved. They actually do help in this. And your third one, you want to take the Switcheroo. And the reason you want it is so that you can switch between AP when you want, but it also, just because it does help your reload time. So, and then for your second one here, you're going to want to go ahead and take End of the Road. That way you do more AP damage. And like I said, this thing can dish out if you're doing that. For your legendary perk, again, this is the same as the other ones where Both this and the cruiser, you want to take damage at the beginning, get your health a little bit low, then make sure your shields are good and stay safe the rest of the match if you're using the DPS build. Um, and the more health you lose, the better everything gets, and you still have them two full shields. So keep that in mind when you are playing this. Now, for the health build, or for the tank build, you're going to want to take the S's for shield. You're going to want to take the base belongs to us. That's to get your shields back quicker and your damage cons. And for your other one, you're going to want to take indestructibility. And for your last one, you're going to want to take the shield XP or shield HP. Now with this build, you're not going to do a ton of damage. But again, you're going to be ultra tanky. It's going to be really hard to kill you. And if you can take some focus off your teammates and really help that. With that being said, and kind of you guys seeing how talked about how these are played, now I'm going to show you guys a quick match so you can see this in action, particularly this legendary trait where you take your health down right away. Now, with that being said, I'm going to show you guys a game and what I'm talking about. You're going to see right away I point right to a spot. That's one thing I wanted to say right away. These all have these same spawns. Now, each difficulty might have a different spawn, but once you get into the difficulty of like Cosmic Terror, they're always going to be the same. So right away, you can see I have my EMP field activated. I'm getting rid of the EMP. Now, not worried about killing the ships. I'm just trying to get the EMP off so the rest of the people can go ahead and do damage to them. I actually, right in the beginning, you want to take damage. You notice how slow here, now that without my EMP thing on, how slow my guns are reloading. You know, they're not terribly slow, but you're going to see once I lose some health, how much quicker these get. So keep in mind your spawns are always the same, and the first wave is particularly easy. So if you can take some damage to help get that legendary skill take effect, you are 100% going to be better off for it, especially if you if you play cautious enough later where you don't die. So we have our destroyer up here. Like I said, though, one thing that is important, as you guys know, is that the ships are going to always spawn in the same spot once you get to Cosmic Terror. Now, they might be right or left, but they're going to be in the same setup, same fortune. As you're going to see, I'm going to predict pretty much where they're going to be. Also, when you're playing the cruiser, if you get time, you can throw torps out of it. They're not very great, but you can. When you're a battleship, also, you need to be shooting where I'm aiming as well. You don't want to be trying to get citadels all the time in the battleship, the DPS build. The reason for that is it's very inaccurate. If you shoot towards the middle, some will get superstructure, some will get the side plating, and you'll actually hit more ships. And that's where I started having a lot more luck on the DPS build. Now you can see I'm intentionally running into these orbital cams, trying to get some health off of me. So you can see I tried to take some off there, and you can see at 100%, I'm just trying to take damage. And you can see I slowed down because I don't want to get in the middle of a fight without my shield, but I do want to take some damage. When you're going to start to see my guns are starting to reload quicker here. So you use that legendary skill. If you have it, you take some damage, and even a little bit now has put us into that. I think it's about 3.5 or so. You're going to see, though, it's pretty darn quick. And I'm going to take my health down more. Now, you could go to the bottom. On some of the matches, I went like down to 5,000 health. It's a little risky, but you can do a ton of damage that way. Again, with these ships, you want to shoot AP. A lot of times I focus on the destroyer with the crew, after I get shields down. With the cruiser, you kind of want to go after destroyers. And the reason is the battleships are going to have a rough time with it. The cruisers, if they're on a torpedo build, are going to have a rough time with it. So you definitely want to go that route. If you are a playing as a battleship. As you see, I am taking more damage here just to take more damage. Just so I get down. I do have a shield though now. But you can see I'm down to half health, and you can see the guns are reloading much quicker. You can see they're, down to like 3 seconds or something, or 2 point something. It's crazy. And you can see the crazy amount of shells. And right away, 4 minutes into the match, I have 800,000 damage. So, and now from here on out, I'll kind of play somewhat safe. There is a point where I try to get my health a little bit lower, and you'll see that, but it was a little risky, and be careful when you're doing that. The biggest thing is to stay alive in this event and not get way out of place. Again, we are gonna go ahead and we're gonna do we don't have the cooldown, but we're still gonna be able to take down the shield on that Dominus. And like I said, if you're a destroyer, once you get to the Allspark, that big guy under the big beam, you're going to want to start throwing torpedoes at the best you can as them when you can get there without being detected, and just start unloading torpedoes. That will help your team the most, because he does a lot of damage, and if you can get him at range when he's not shooting at anybody, your teammates are going to be much safer with it. So you're going to see I'm going to come in, and you probably are going to see, I think, in this match where I talk about you don't want to really get in between that 7.5 kilometers on this thing as a cruiser. Now my other teammates are really close, so they've taken some focus off here, but you can see I'm just laying into them, and having that damage down a little bit to help you reload is pretty good. As now you can see I got within 7.5, and he hit me pretty good and took down some of my shield. Now at this range, he's not super accurate, but he will still 100% wreck you. As you can see, just even 8 minutes into the match, we're over 1 million damage. And like I said, you can use this to be effective in all ship types. In fact, just with the DPS battleship, I think on the hard mode or the terror mode or whatever, I think I had 1.5 in the battleship. So you can do damage in the battleship. You just got to be careful. You got to do the DPS build. Just remember, you're not as tanky as if you have all the tank build ones on there. So you can see we're just going in and staying super active. By the way, this is a super fun event. I thought this was going to be a ripoff of Halloween, and this is really good. Also, as a battleship, them orbital strike beams that are coming down, you 100% don't want to get hit by them at all. As a battleship, they do take off a whole shield. So if you have a full shield, you get hit by one of them, fully hit by one of them, it'll take the entire shield away. It won't do that on the cruiser, or the destroyer, but you can be very careful. Try to be turning when you can in between, because the orbital beams come down in between your waves that you're going to attack. One thing I'll say is the Galaxy cruisers, you need to have them a little bit more broadside to Citadel in the cruiser. The other ones, I can't remember what they're called. They have a longer name. Them ones, you can pretty much Citadel at any range. Them are light cruisers. Again, the Firefly is the weaker destroyer. The Lightspeed is the harder one to take off, as you can see here. I'm pretty sure we're going to wreck this Galaxy the way he's, sitting broadside. So you can see it pretty easy to take them down. But if they're broadside. Now, if they're pointing at you, they're a little bit harder, but you can see our reload is really good. And you can see I'm saving my EMP field for the next battleship with shields. Not the big one. We're just going to wait for the next one and help get the shields off for the teammates. You can use your radar in this, but the radar doesn't do anything. You can't see stuff without being at 8.5 kilometers. That's what the shooting distance is anyway. So the radar really doesn't help you. Everything's shooting anyway. So once you get in range, everything's going to be visible to you. I'm not sure why it was in there. If they had them all the way, if they had the guys there on the map at the whole time, that would be handy to have the radar to kind of guess what the next step is for you or make it more obvious. But like I said, these spawns are always the same. So you can see here, I know that that island's going to be eventually, that tree island there is going to be a problem. Having, you know, played this a few times, obviously now. So we're going to go ahead and head to the right. Now, we have plenty of time left here, and uh, I'm actually just having fun here because, you know, I saw I was on a decent damage total with 6 minutes to go. So I don't really focus too hard on the main all destroyer battleship here. I actually just have fun taking down some of the guys here at the end. Um, as you can see, we're just going to go ahead hit our EMP, and this will take the shield off so quick. If you aim at superstructure with any EMP, whether it's a battleship or the cruiser, with any EMP rounds, you're just going to shred it. And once that's down, you with the AP build on the cruiser, you can just let go. So you're going to see over here, I switched to the Galaxy. It's broadside, figuring get rid of that real quick. But I had terrible aim and didn't realize it. I was trying to see where I was, if I was going to run into an island or not. I do remember that at this point. I'm like, because I really missed an opportunity there to kill the to kill that cruiser really quick. But we're gonna get rid of that battleship because they do hurt quite a bit if they do start getting shots on you. And you know, we could have went right for the battle cruiser here, or the Allspark, the big battleship. But I kind of had fun since I saw the damage total was getting pretty cool. And I was like, ah, you know what? We might see how much damage we get here. So, you know, I could have actually went for the kill, but it's an event, not a standard match. So I did damage hunt a little bit. That's the first time you'll ever see me do that. I'm not a damage hunter at all. So we're going to get another set of reinforcements. And you can see right away, I quit worrying about that one without the shield. I get my EMP reload back, and I am going to go 100% to town on these shields here. So the shield's gone there, and we're going to go on the next one, even though the other ones are in front of us. We're trying to do that to get rid of them shields. Now we'll focus again on the weak one, get rid of that. And you can see now I'm starting to get hit, so I am you know, a little bit more wary. Got pushed in a little bit here, and we're gonna get torps here. And also you can see I didn't realize it at this moment because I got back focused. I'm starting to close in on that the main battleship. I always forget the name of it. I think it's called the Allspark. But anyway, we're gonna go ahead and just shoot again, get rid of these battleships so they're not messing with our battleships or our destroyers. But as you can see, we're getting pretty close to crossing that 2 million mark here. So pretty crazy. Even on the Halloween event, you could get a lot. I think at Halloween, which is somewhat similar. I think I had 1.2 million. This is definitely a lot more damage available in this event, but we're gonna get rid of the cruiser. You can see my shield is 100% down. I've been backing up, and I want to be careful here that I don't die. But you're gonna see I'm gonna take some damage here, and my reload is gonna get even more insane. As you're gonna see, we're gonna go ahead and focus on this cruiser. We have no shields now, so we're very, very vulnerable. We got the cruiser down, and now we're gonna put the fire out, so we go unspotted here for a second. And I'm just trying to get my shield back, to be honest. And now the only guy that's left is the Star Killer All Destroyer. Okay, so I wasn't too far off. And you're gonna see I go unspotted for a second, then I start shooting. Again, this is where you should be shooting on battleships, especially if you are playing the battleship, because the inaccuracy of that battleship will make a lot of your rounds go right into the water if you don't. And honestly, with the battleship, the EMP rounds are very good at actually taking the EMP down if you can, you know, get the EMP shells on target. You will get a whole salvo on it and they will be gone. But as you can see, we are getting really close to finishing them off. And we didn't make the time thing, but that's okay, because we could have, I think, obviously, if I had focused on the destroyer, or that all destroyer earlier, we could have got the time limit as well. But I wanted a cool damage the picture screenshot to take, and it's pretty cool. If you get the right match, you could definitely get 2.5, 3 million on the right setup. If your teammates all die and you have to do all the work, so. With that being said, we really help win that, obviously, with 2 million damage. Hopefully this helps you understand the planet event a little bit better. And we will see you next time, folks. Have a good one.